抜け fly away 体中に広がるパノラマ顔を蹴られた地球が起こって火山を爆発させる
Anyway, whenever you nerds are done talking about D&D,
might be waiting a while.
Looking through your D&D books.
I'm trying to see if I can make a dick wizard. By that I mean a jerk. I realized that could have been taken in.
Yes.
Magic missile! Oh my.
That's kind of like the
Now that you say that,
train of thought that I originally went on, because, like,
Yeah.
what else would it be?
you can
jerk
make
wizard.
your dick wizard, I'll make my dick wizard. And by that I mean penis wizard.
That was kind of the original train of thought I went along.
It goes right along with the Dragon Balls we're drinking.
Yeah, what tea is this?
Dragon Balls.
Yulian?
Dragonballs!
Would you care to explain a little bit more, as in more than none?
They're magical balls.
Fine, I'll put this book away. Oh, look at that guy, he's hitting him in the head. Anyway, it is a green tea, a jasmine green tea. The tea is wound up into a tiny little ball, and then when you pour the hot water in it, they expand and expand, and look at the size of that compared to before. Can you see that, audience? You can't. But, yeah.
It grows to about 3 times its size.
Mm-hmm. And it'll grant you 3 wishes.
3?
That's
Yes.
not true. So,
Used to be 1, but...
yeah, a lot of, what are our topics of discussion this week?
There aren't very many.
There aren't very many. We're gonna do something a little different. After we're done with the news and the sort of talk of the week, we're gonna, I think, go straight into the second infusion. So stay tuned to that. We'll give you a little warning before that, and it'll be our experiment this week.
Yeah, so, yeah, we'll do that, and, send us a letter or something, and, tell us which format you like better, the 2-parter or the huge 1-part long marathon.
This is a reaction to some of the feedback we've gotten, so, we want to do whatever we can within reason to make you guys happy.
Yeah, testing the waters a little bit.
Give us your money.
Sure. You can send us money at Teacast at thedragonstreasure.com.
Or you can also buy tea
Yes, you can buy tea at...
at dragonstreasure.com.
Yeah, so...
Yep. But big 2-year anniversary sale is over, so you missed out on that.
Losers. We will also... You will also be able to buy tea if you live in the Kansas City region.
Yeah, we'll be
This
visiting
weekend.
you, leaving this Friday. So I'm super stoked about that. For those of you that don't know and live in the Midwest, Midwest Tea Fest has been going on for several years now. They just doubled it. They expanded from 1 day to 2, so that's a pretty big deal. So we'll be with some giants, some growers, distributors, and then just fellow tea shops. It's a 2-day event. If you're in the Midwest and you have nothing to do this weekend, what is it, the weekend after Labor Day? It's the 9th?
It is the 9th to 11th.
Yeah. Feel free to stop by and say, hey.
The 9th is like the secret industry only day.
I think you might have... Nope, it's the 8th is the Friday, the 9th and 10th will be Saturday and Sunday.
Okay,
I was
whatever. It's this weekend.
Yes. It'll be plenty of fun. Mm-hmm. Stressful for me, but fun after the fact.
Good stress, for once.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
A little bit of both, but after the fact, it'll be great. And during, we'll meet some fun people, as we always do.
Yeah, it's always quite fun because you don't really see this combination of tea and anime, especially at a tea convention. And so there's a lot of youngsters that go there who expect not much, get kind of bored. Then they see a giant band and they're just like, oh god, what is this?
Yeah, it's always the guy that is like, I'm going with my girlfriend.
Is that Goku?
There's Goku!
I love Goku.
I like Goku.
And then the girlfriend is always like, I always preferred Vegeta. And better yet, this year we actually how do you say this? Jimmied up a rig so that last year was held up by painter's tape, duct tape.
Oh, we have an actual.
No,
piece?
it's jimmied up. So it's
less ghetto though.
It's like penthouse ghetto.
What's that?
We use a rope.
We use a rope.
What's penthouse?
And tape.
Wait, what's penthouse ghetto?
It's like, there's like your base ground ghetto, and since people are going for headshots,
it's classy ghetto.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and like you get in, it's like, oh, this is livable.
It's not Scotch tape, it's duct tape.
Yeah, and the bullets are streaming to the lower levels, and it won't fall down on us this year. It'll be great.
Yay.
People
can actually see it.
Yeah. So it worked out. As long as we have two places to tie off the we have generous rope on both sides, it'll be good. So it should look good. I'm pretty stoked. The next thing that I'm thinking about making is bases for the figures. So I have the necessary pieces. I just have to do it. So if anybody has some suggestions on how I can go about doing that, let me know.
Duct tape.
Yeah.
Did we wind up Scotch taping them last year?
I think that's the only solution that we'll ever have.
No, well, so for instance, all right, I guess we're going to move on to carpentry. So I had wood, I carved them out into circles, and basically I have a wood burner that I can make those circles the Dragon's Treasure logo. And the idea that I have is I'm going to drill a couple pre-holes, and then these would be permanent. So, like, I have to be really careful with this, because then, I basically am going to drive, like, a nail or a screw up through their feet. And so it'll go into their leg, and that's it. And so then they will be, we can take the screw or nail out, but, this will be their forever home, like, for conventions and stuff.
Right.
So, it's not that hard to make a stand, but it's just a matter of making
it's hard to make a good stand.
Yeah. So, I have the rough idea. I just want to make it really nice.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, so lots of exciting things around the next corner.
To get us warmed up for this thing, we had a nice little meeting with some people, which we can't go into just yet. But we're looking to get some really good partnerships going. More details on that at a different point.
Yeah, as they come out. But it was really nice. We're looking for opportunities to serve tea to people, too. So, if you have a get-together coming up, reach out to the places aforementioned. So maybe we can jump into news.
Before that, you've got some new types of tea.
Shh. We're premiering them at the Midwest Tea Fest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say, but I guess they're a secret until this weekend, but they will be available after that, and not a secret?
Correct.
Yep, see us and them there.
So, yeah.
Then we can talk.
Secret specialties for the Midwest Tea Fest coming soon. So, news. I clicked a wrong thing. You want to talk about Dynasty Warriors?
So we finally have some actual gameplay footage of the new Dynasty Warriors.
And it looks amazing.
Yes, it actually looks like a AAA game.
I would say the others did too. But, well, Japan has a different definition of that. But I'd say it looks like they actually changed the gameplay around, and it's not just a clone of the others, which was our primary criticism of it previously. Mm-hmm. It has a lot of new features. It has a lot of new ways of doing things. Stealth is a thing now. What?
Yeah, that's going to be interesting.
It looks more like you're a commander instead of the strong guy in the army. You're kind of working with other units, and you're command and looking at where they are in the world and that kind of thing. They didn't show that much of it, but what they did, it really that got my attention.
Yeah, we can use grappling hooks.
Yes, grappling hooks.
It sounds the tactics sound eerily similar to Barty, so I'm excited about this.
Okay, so now you have to explain Barty.
Okay, we started off by looking at D&D. We're considering doing some with our friends. So Barty's one of my favorite characters I invented. Barty had a lot of secrets. So I decided I wanted to do something different than normal. So I'm like, what have I never done before in terms of a character? And I've never played a transsexual, so I started there. So I'm like, transsexual gnome, that sounds like a good starting place. And then I played a lot of bards, and I had this backstory that just sort of developed in my head. Long story short, Barty was a rogue and was not named Barty, but she double-crossed a bard who double-crossed her, got him thrown in jail, stole all of his clothes, and since he knew that the bard would come looking for him, just adopted the persona of a bard. And so anyways, I played the rogue Barty as a bard and told my teammates that I was a bard and did perform checks for my songs. My most favorite one being the Song of Flanking.
Your songs that literally did nothing and you didn't have to roll for?
Exactly, those songs. Except got them to flank, and then, I would go in there with my backstab bonus and just do all kinds of damage. And luckily nobody was that versed in D&D at that point, so no one questioned me. But then again, why would you question?
I think most of them, some of them kind of were, but they were just like, oh, okay, he's doing this song he has.
Yes.
Let's roll with it.
I had the Song of Emboldenment, in which, for some reason, whenever I sang the song, somebody critted. So it worked out.
It was real magic.
It was real magic, not just... Yeah. And then the Song of Flanking, in which, a lot of people missed, but then I got my backstab bonus, and we beat enemies very quickly. So it just... and then the next thing would happen, and so they wouldn't think about it. And then finally, months passed after we pretty much stopped our campaign, and it was one of my favorite moments in D&D history. Is just, we're not going to pick this up again, right? Right. Oh, probably. Okay. You know Barty? Yeah. Because I had a couple other quirks in my personality.
A couple.
I said, so Barty was a rogue. Silence. Oh my god, of course, you freaking named him Barty. So anyways, he would get everyone to go in there for him, flank, and then come in for the backstab bonus. You guys be my meat shield and my distraction, and here I come to capitalize on that. So it sounds like they're basically using the same quasi tank and spank, but also like, you be my distraction, you be go with my minions, and then now I'm going to do the real harm.
Yeah, that was great. There were a lot of other secrets and tricks, too, that you had.
Well, yeah, another time I found a whole bunch of gold. So let's say I found 150 gold pieces or something. And so I pocketed 50 pieces of the gold and came up to my teammates and were like, guys, look, I found 100 gold. And they're like, wow, what a nice guy. He didn't, he's so honest. He just told us about this. He could have just pocketed it. And so we split that all up evenly.
And of course they all knew that he did that. Yeah, they were role-playing.
The team, couldn't do anything but...
Everyone's smiling daggers at him.
And it just, the way it worked out is...
You're so kind. Thank you.
The players knew to not trust me, but then the characters had the opposite effect. Like, they just, going forward, were like, man, that Barty's such a stand-up, honest bard.
You put all your points into bluff and perform.
Yes, I did. The most useful skills
and I think disguise and hide.
Yes, disguise was another big one. So, yeah, the most important skills for a rogue. Oh, I love Barty.
Oh, boy.
You were rolling like 40s on your perform.
It was a magical performance in any sense of the word, besides the technical bardic sense of the word. But yeah. So that's nice. That makes me very interested for this gameplay in Dynasty Warriors, the Dynasty of Barty.
Where did you get what? Where did that link come from?
Because the stealth, you send in the tanks to give you your bonuses. You sneak around to the side and you backstab them.
Okay,
that's basically what you're doing. That was my strategy. As Barty.
Why would you need to sneak? Just obliterate all of them in one hit.
I like to hit things.
The other day, this was a while ago actually, but anyway, I was playing League of Legends. My dad came in and I was Jarvan the Fourth, and for some reason I was laning against a Graves, and so my dad's like, "Oh, so how's it going?" And I'm like, "Well, I got a spear.
Are
and
you
he's got
winning,
a gun."
son?
Yeah. And I'm like, I don't know how to explain this to him in a short way while I'm playing. This was a ranked game. And I'm like, well, I've got a spear and he's got a shotgun, so it's not a good start.
But you can throw your spear.
I could.
No, you can throw a flag.
Yes.
And then you can try and
then I
stab
can throw
the
this
flag.
sharp onto the spear. But yeah, it was really difficult to explain that to him, and he's finally was like, "Oh, that's nice."
I'm so glad you turned out like this, son.
Yeah. I taught you well to bring a spear to a gunfight.
So what other stuff do we have?
So there's a game called Darkwood, and I was interested in this story, or in this game, sorry, before this story hit, because it looked really interesting. It looked like it had some kind of unique lore, and the atmosphere is really good, but it's like a super indie team that kind of looked like they had no clue what they were doing, because I saw this post on what's it called, Imgur, and it's just like, hi, we're people who decided to make a game, and then we learned how to make a game. And it was like, this like really personal kind of, hi, this is us. Stop kicking his mic stand.
I think I was holding it down, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well then continue to hold it down.
Damn it.
All right, anyway. So, yeah. They said, instead of buying, if you can't afford the game, instead of buying the game from shady online key resellers, and if you don't know what that is, the gist of it is they buy the game in a place like maybe Russia or India or something, where the game is sort of scaled, the price of the game is sort of scaled to their economy. So let's say it's $20 here, it's $5 there. So you buy it, and then you sell it for more than it's worth there, and people make a profit off of it. And the game developers, they get the $250 or whatever their cut is from the Russian version. But if you would have bought it from here, they would have got $10, roughly speaking. So, and they say just instead of doing that, we want to discourage that. So it's a bad business practice for almost everyone involved except scammers. So we're going to put it on PirateBay. Here's a clean, guaranteed, no virus copy. Go download that instead. That shows a lot of, screw you to the people who are reselling keys online. And it also shows a confidence in their product, because they're saying, if you like it, eventually when you have some money, buy the real version. That's a pretty good move.
It could also be the ultimate troll where they went all this work just to put a virus in the PirateBay thing.
Or that.
Oh, that was... I don't even know if I'd be mad.
That would be funny, I think. But I don't think that's what it is.
Like, it's like a completely functional game, just...
But there's just a Bitcoin miner in the background. Somebody actually did that with a pirated version of Watch Dogs, which is huge irony.
That's beautiful. What else we got?
Something else that's beautiful is...
Oh...
Stop it.
What?
Nobody knows what it is yet.
I know what it is.
Yeah, but
I can see it.
Shh, you
Let's
can't
stretch this pause
You
out,
guys
though.
gonna really like this.
It's
wow.
gonna be so
It's
cool.
amazing.
No, nobody can see it. There's nothing to see. We only exist in voice form
Next story.
until this weekend when we will exist in physical form to sell tea. So yeah, there's Capcom teamed up with some company called I Am 8-Bit, and they re-released Street Fighter 2 for Super Nintendo in an actual cartridge that you could put in your Nintendo and play it like a good old video game.
But
But it might catch on fire.
yay!
Yeah, that's a bit of a catch.
And this isn't even something people found out after the fact. This is a warning on the game.
The warning on the game is the SNES hardware is deemed a vintage collectible, so please exercise extreme caution when using the product, and make sure there is a fire extinguishment equipment nearby. Use of the product is at the sole risk of the user. So don't play Street Fighter unless you have a fire extinguisher with you.
How could they not make a game that doesn't catch fire? Like, how did this happen?
They're saying it's they don't know what condition the hardware is in, so it could have 30 years of dust in it, and then it might explode or something.
Oh, that's the angle they're going with?
That's what they're going with.
Okay, I thought like
It's not the cartridge itself. But you know.
Okay, I originally thought that the game itself would just like make it explode because it's running too much or something.
No. But it's still funny.
It's still funny.
And
I just like the whole attitude of like, yeah, we know we're putting this out there, but your fault, not ours.
Well, you know, okay, it's a vintage console, but you could get one for like what, $40 on eBay or something.
Vintage.
The game itself is $100.
God, I can't even hear that word anymore.
Vintage?
Yeah. A small break. So, me and Old Man John over here
Meh.
were pretty big wrestling fans back in the day.
Yeah.
And-
Vintage.
Vintage wrestling?
There was an announcer who he wanted to have a catchphrase, I guess, and he wanted vintage to be part of his catchphrase, and he would like list.
This is some vintage wrestling.
Yeah, and he would just call everything
Oh,
vintage.
yeah.
And
What?
he basically lost the plot when there was a character who was like he was a Russian dude, and he like did not talk. He was just very stern. All he would do is destroy. And eventually they decided, hey, let's have some fun with this, like a very serious guy being forced to dance like a dance competition. And so he busted out like a couple of dance moves. It was almost like, oh my god, this is so unique and out of character. Nobody saw this coming. And the announcer goes, vintage Kozlov. It's like, what? Why would you... Stop calling everything vintage. We have never seen this before. This is unique.
Vintage JR.
So now anytime I hear the word vintage, that's all I can think of.
So, kids, wrestling ruins your life. Mm-hmm. And words like vintage.
How did the whole new generation thing work out for them, I wonder? Probably not very well, because I don't care.
I never cared.
That's
So
because
this
you
is
didn't
all,
have cable.
all of wrestling wasn't on cable.
Yeah, it was.
Well, I mean, it might have been, but it wasn't only on cable.
It was mostly on cable.
No, they had
you don't have-
they had SmackDown and Raw on regular TV.
No, Raw was not on regular
Don't
TV.
call me a liar. I know what I can.
You
and
said
can't
you
watch.
weren't watching it!
Yeah, because I didn't care, not because I couldn't.
No, it's because you don't have a childhood,
Yeah.
loser.
Well, you didn't have a childhood with all the shows that you didn't watch because you were busy watching other things.
Hey, Nick, do you remember Hey Arnold?
No, because
No,
I
you
didn't
don't.
have cable.
Loser.
How about Toonami?
I've seen most of the shows that were on that.
about
On
Toonami?
Toonami?
That's not a show.
It kind of was.
It's not. No, it isn't.
It was
It's
like-
by
It
definition.
was like a
not.
show in between shows. You even had a movie at some point.
Did it?
Yeah. Tom was like on a spaceship and began to be like hijacked by like virus pirates. Sound remembered?
Sounds legit.
like Svengoolie.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good way to say it. You might have seen all those movies, but you didn't see Sven Gulli.
Did you see the Mortal Kombat animated series?
I didn't see that.
I wouldn't see that.
It's pretty bad.
Even if I had cable, I wouldn't watch it.
It's bad even for that time era. It was like, take all of the really bad cliches, imagine somebody trying to go over the top with them, and Mortal Kombat was worse. It was...
Cliche, that was the word I was looking for.
Yeah. We should watch an episode of that just so
No,
we
we
can
shouldn't.
laugh.
No.
It's terrible.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Come on. Nick, why don't you want to watch Awful Things with us?
I don't want to watch awful things.
Shut up! Why don't you want to watch Awful Things with us?
Why do you want to watch awful things?
To watch people's reactions? It's the same
okay,
reason I
just-
make most of my jokes.
You know what you could do? Just have a mirror. Then you have an awful thing and an awful reaction.
It wouldn't be an awful reaction.
Anyway.
He was calling you an awful thing.
I know.
Oh, okay, that's good.
At least you picked up on it.
Mhm.
Anyway, the stupid Street Fighter 2 Fire Edition is $100. You could
Wow,
just-
this
you
game
could
is...
just-
Possibly
You could
several
just
times
buy.
more.
You could just buy a real copy of the original Street Fighter for that much.
But you know what?
Maybe even a new copy.
Hey, Nick. This game is lit.
Ah,
Yeah. I know
no,
the...
it could be. It could be.
I know the
So
young
keep
people
a-
lingo.
Keep a fire extinguisher nearby. You never know. Some guy is a voice actor in Japan, and he's voicing Yamcha in Dragon Ball Fighters. So, that could be like a, he could be an announcer or something like that,
Do you mean
or in
that
a
he's-
cutscene, or he could be a fighter.
He's most likely trolling because he did the same thing when there was like a fake leak with Dragon Ball Super, and the leak basically said Yamcha was going to be the 10th fighter, and he tweeted out saying, "Oh man, I did a lot of voice work these past couple of days on Yamcha. I'm tired."
yeah, so everyone's like, Illuminati
he-
confirmed, it's Yamcha.
But he did do a bunch of voice work.
But he said it was for Super though.
But he was in a ton of episodes for Super.
No,
No?
we're talking after the point that he was at. No, because he'd already done his last bit. His last bits leading up to the arc was when they would flash over to his little apartment with him and Poor, and they're just talking and like, oh man, I should show up last second and then be the hero. Wait, no, I should do this. Wait, no, I should do this. And then they were already after that, and so everyone's just like, all right, he's recorded everything. So they were on like the recording for the tournament.
Oh.
And so he's like, oh man, I've been doing so much voice acting.
Okay, so obvious trolling.
Oh yeah. And so,
Well, it wasn't obvious at the time.
yeah, like I was, after hearing that, I'm like, it's going to be freaking Yamcha. Oh my god.
No, it says here confirmed. It says he confirmed it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so voice actor for Yamcha doing something with the game, maybe.
But he didn't reveal whether he would be a playable character or not.
Dun,
He
dun,
didn't reveal whether he would be a character.
But they would not do that because they would
Could
get
you
back.
imagine?
They would just get backlash.
What slot would he be taking up? Who cares? It's Yamcha.
Yeah, there's just so many characters that people want in this thing that people are upset because we have Super Saiyan Blue, Vegeta, and Goku because we already have a Vegeta and Goku's like, oh, it's taking up slots. You can't do that. Nah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if Yamcha was to do it, I still want them to put Tien.
You know how in like the interface where it was just the version with like 4 fighters, and it looked like you could see like all the empty slots, right?
Yes.
And it looked like some slots had like 3 tabs. So it looked like, each slot was like a square. But then it looked like there was a square behind a square.
I think that was just the shadows of the squares.
No, because some had it, and then some had it like really far behind, like a stack of cards.
I don't know.
And that was what I was thinking. Like you have choose your Goku.
They said no, because they said they didn't really want to do the duplicate characters thing, but with someone like Vegeta,
then they did it.
Yeah, but with someone like Vegeta and Goku, it's kind of inevitable.
Yeah.
But there aren't really many other characters you can do that with.
That's why there was only a couple of them that had that that like stack kind of thing, and then most of them were just singles. Which is why I was thinking that it was going to be like that.
Either way, no Yamcha.
No Yamcha.
No Yamcha.
Stop lying, Yamcha.
I think that he might be the guy that trains you. That useless bot character. He's just you go to King Kai's planet or wherever, and he's just like, "Hi, I died again. Want to fight me? I'm gonna get strong this time." And then you just, he always ends up in that fetal position, exploded on the ground.
Rabbits.
Yeah, exactly. And this is definitely not what they're going to do, but for some reason, as we were talking about this, I was thinking that, to have a character that really good players could play that gives them a handicap, like they have to punch 4 times for the price of 1 damage, that would be fun. But in tournament, like if you had a character like, let's say Majin Buu, that could, absorb characters, and then, he gets like the costume change, what if you had like Yamcha on your team, who would be like a deficit, but then if like...
Sacrificed your Yamcha to defeat your opponent?
Yeah.
Oh,
that's ridiculous, but
But that's the kind of thing that
would be like a
kind of would happen in this game, because it looks like they're doing that kind of weird stuff.
Yeah. So I think it would be more fun if it was like a less serious game.
Like use Krillin to throw rocks at people.
Yeah.
No, just kidding. The rocks are senzu beans. Pick them up.
Yeah. So I think that what do you call it? I think if it was less serious, that would be a really viable option. Like, oh shoot, they chose Majin Buu first pick. Fools! I pick go Yamcha. Absorb me,
yeah,
bro.
But then that would be his only use.
That would be it, but that would be enough, because then you would you take away the possibility of them absorbing your characters you like. Cause...
Or they could make Yamcha the random select button. The guy's like, oh, yeah, just kidding.
Oh,
so many trolling examples or possibilities.
Or Yamcha's the counter pick for 18. Which one's the self-destruct one?
16.
Noob. Hey, it's a number. Yeah, Yamcha's the counter pick for 16. Somebody picked 16. Okay, pick Yamcha. Now his self-destruct is pointless. Good work. You took out Yamcha.
Or maybe Yamcha has his own self-destruct, except he actually dies, and you have a chance of missing. Like, you put in the button...
And it doesn't self-destruct.
Yeah, like,
you
put in the
dies.
button, just like a Cyberman comes out of nowhere and grabs him and blows up. And if you're close to that, you take a shit ton of damage. But either way, Yamcha dies.
It's just a medium amount of damage.
Ooh, and then maybe... So, alright, again, we're in the realm of ridiculous. I don't think this is happening. But you know how Goku gets a lot stronger after a friend dies? He dies in some ridiculous, stupid way, and then it gives your team plus 20% attack or something. So you're losing a character, yes, but then, Majin Buu absorbed Yamcha. No! Our friend! And then go forth. But, if he eats anybody else, it's just like, oh no.
Yeah. There is some tournament.
We should develop video games. We have some weird but cool and possibly useful ideas.
Yeah. I've actually, there was a, online course for, Unity development, and it was on sale. It was normally $200.
Hey,
and
Nick,
I'm like, wow, that's stupidly expensive.
what's Unity?
It's a game development engine.
Thank you.
So, yeah, normally $200, and it's on sale for $30, and I'm like, okay.
Well,
That sounds like the kind of thing where it might always be on sale, but okay, sure. So yeah, I looked into that, and I've been doing that for a few days, and it's actually pretty good. So
Exciting. Maybe we can be video game developers.
maybe we can. My programming skills haven't increased. I haven't done any programming in like 10 years. Ugh.
Well, so you're probably up with the curve.
That hurts to say, but yeah, it's gotten better. But yeah, good stuff. And if you want to know, if you're interested in that, the site is called Udemy, udemy.com.
Neato.
So yeah, it's pretty good.
we should make a T-Man dating sim.
Ew.
Everyone loses.
There's a game called Who's Your Daddy where you it's like dad
That's the first
dad
thought you
dating.
have after a T-Man dating sim? Who's your daddy?
It was more like
Thank you,
like
Nick.
dating
Yeah,
sims
you,
that
Nick.
you wouldn't want to play.
The game is just about how bad T-Man can just fuck everything up. Like, computer does everything it can to make the relationship work, and you just choose the options of how to screw it up.
Okay, so what would the mechanics be? Would it be like choose your own adventure style, or would it be like raise your stats to impress the T-Man?
No, you'd be playing as the T-Man,
Oh, okay.
and so, like, nice things would happen, like, hey, we go to the beach, and you choose what you want to screw up. Either, like, you forgets...
Oh, so all the choices result in negativity.
Yes. And the
Very
computer
nice.
tries its best to keep up with your negativity. And you see how far you can get before the computer is just like, you know what? I can't get out of this situation.
Success is not a viable option.
Correct. The best case scenario is you end up as friends. Worst case scenario, you get beaten up by a new boyfriend.
So for those of you who know programming, it's just a bunch of if-elses and no else. The else is just quit.
By the way, ladies, I'm still single.
In case you were wondering.
Oh. Meanwhile, back
Have you said that every single week?
I don't think so.
You say it a lot.
You say it a lot.
I'm looking! What else is on?
How's that going? Get any emails at Teacast? In other game development news, Nintendo got sued again for motion controller patent things. It amazes me the amount of companies that are still suing Nintendo over Wii U controllers. Okay, so let me count. There's one company that just successfully sued Nintendo about motion sensors in Wii and Wii U controllers. It's called iLife. I've never heard of them. Have you?
Nope.
Nope.
Well, that's surprising. Yeah, it's about motion sensing technology to monitor infants for sudden infant death syndrome and the elderly for falls.
What the fuck? That's not even, like, game related. They really...
Motion sensors.
What's motion sensors?
Well, their deal is that
They developed the technology.
Nintendo copied their motion sensor technology.
Oh my god.
Until now, didn't pay them.
They filed a lawsuit in 2013. I don't know why they didn't file it in maybe 2004 when the Wii came out.
God, was it that long ago?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I think so. And
No, that couldn't be. That's around the time the GameCube came out.
no, GameCube came out in like 2000 or something. It was definitely out in 2001.
Anyway.
But yeah, they also got sued for a bunch of other motion stuff by another company called IA Labs that I never heard of in 2010, and another company called Motiva, about
2006.
motion controllers in 2013 again. And another one about 3DS that Nintendo actually won. They lost all the other ones except for one.
Man, they must have quite a wardrobe with all these suits.
And that's the news in anime and video games.
Yay!
Okay. So, I guess we'll go into This Week in Tea. My memory was jogged earlier on when we were doing a little presentation. So today I'll talk a little bit about tea brewing vessels. So we're really lucky to live in the current modern age where you have access to pretty much everything at unheard of levels and prices. But in general, if you're looking for a really good tea vessel, it boils down to whether you get a ceramic, a cast iron, or a clay. Okay? And the main arguments are, especially in the East, between cast iron and especially Yijing clay. And so each one of these has a benefit. And before we go into that, let's talk about what makes tea good. Well, for one, you need the right temperature. That you probably know about by now. We've talked about it.
Yeah.
When you sear the tea, when you have already cooked it, it's released certain elements of its personality, and you need to brew it at higher temperatures. So we're talking the black tea and the oolong especially, but also the green. You brew at a higher temperature generally than really delicate white tea. So temperature becomes really important, especially as you get higher, because the moment that you pour hot water into something, if that something is colder than the water you poured into it, the heat begins to dissipate. Okay, so preheating your pot, by the way, if you've never done that, give it a shot, see if it changes the flavor of the tea. Pour the hot water at the temperature that you want it into the vessel, swish it around like they do in a tea ceremony, pour it out, and then try again. Put the tea leaves in, put the water in. So temperature is one part. And in that sense, cast iron is the greatest, because once it distributes heat evenly. It does release heat, but it distributes it evenly. So, from the top and bottom, the left and right of the teapot, it's all heated exactly the same. So when the tea spreads out and can dance, which with loose leaf tea you want, it's all equal. So you'll get a really consistent cup of tea. You can also keep cast irons for a really long time. So some people pass down their and you should pass down your cast iron teapot. You just, gotta clean it, gotta keep up on the maintenance, don't use harsh soaps and all that stuff. So that's the benefit of cast iron. Yijing clay is porous. And so this is another thing that you can pass down, and in China especially, they do pass down Yijing pots generation after generation. You brew one type of tea in it, because the pores pick up and they get seasoned, they get flavored. So they actually release heat more quickly than the cast irons. So you really have to be careful in how you preheat them. But the tea gets healthier, and the tea also gets more flavorful. So in terms of sheer flavor, that's the best. The nice thing about porcelain is that you can wash it with soap. I mean, it's not porous. The enamel won't be hurt unless you really mess up. They retain heat fairly well, though nothing too great. They also, they distribute. They get heated very easily, so it gets relatively close to distributing heat, like a cast iron would. It's sort of a jack of all trades, master of none. So yeah, after you heat up the metal of a cast iron, it'll stay hot relatively well, distribute that heat evenly, so you get, a consistent cup. The Yijing, more flavorful. Porcelain, easy. And then one more thing I'll add to it are ingenuities. You probably have seen those at Tivana if you've gone there. You can take them apart and clean them very easily. They are what, non-BPA plastic?
Yep.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. So, those are just easy to clean. They're kind of comparable, in my opinion, to porcelain. Just, you can watch it, because it's see-through, and so you can watch your tea brew.
That's what we use today.
Yep.
Makes about two like little teacup sized.
Yeah. So, now that you know this, consider what you thought before about tea vessels, and then I actually have heard stories of, shop owners and people trying to sell people brewing vessels based on the type of tea.
Ivana.
And other places,
In case you didn't get that, he sneezed Tivana.
I do experiment. So, tea brewing a lot of the times rests on how your tastes are. I actually like the ingenuity because it doesn't retain heat quite as much as the cast irons, and I like flavored oolongs, which, they're like I said, remember how they flavor them. They lay the tea leaves to rest on them. If you retain a higher heat, the flavor of the fruit or whatever you flavored them with gets pulled out quicker. And so the first cup is very flavorful. That's fantastic. But then the second one, most of the flavoring of the flavor is gone. And by the third one, you're basically left with a flatter tasting tea, in my opinion, than your first infusion. Versus with the ingenuity, it disperses the heat a little bit more quickly. I mean, it stays within, a 5-degree probably temperature. But as I've used those, the second infusion, which is coming up shortly, the second infusion is more flavorful. The third infusion is more flavorful. So, yeah, all kinds of things. Brewing vessels. Consider how much heat you want to retain. Consider how much heat you have to disperse throughout the bigness of the pot. So, like big pots.
Bigness.
Yeah, that's a technical term. If it's a big pot, preheat it more, because there's a lot more places to stay cold. Versus, like a small cup-sized, thing. You just need like a little splash of water, and that's good enough. So yeah, any questions about brewing vessels? That was This Week in Tea. Write us. I think that's all we have for the first infusion.
Oh, yeah, I think so.
All right, and things are going to get heated in the second infusion. Stay tuned.
So that's, if you want to write us a letter, a love letter to the T-Man, or whatever, just send it to Teacast. Teacast at thedragonstreasure.com. We'll see you in a few.
So the last episode of Super.
That's how that ends?
Yes.
Yes, that episode. That jutsu.
Why did we do that?
It was fun.
Okay.
Welcome to the second infusion.
I can live with that reason.
So in the last episode of Super, they did the thing I thought they were going to do, and I hope they didn't. They basically just screwed over Tien. They didn't give him an episode, they didn't give him a thing. He basically got himself knocked out, but he managed to take somebody with him. But it was really, really disappointing that we did not see Tien do Tien things.
Especially after proclaiming him a master. Yeah. And it's, as some people would, like his disciples would hold him in its high esteem as Master Roshi.
Mm-hmm.
You know? They gave him that regalness, they set that up, and what he did was pretty neat. I mean, it was ingenuitive, but he didn't do it technically successfully.
He did take out two guys, right?
One.
Let's see, he took out one guy while Master Roshi was holding him with his electric thing. He took out the guy when he was falling.
Oh no, Vegeta took those two guys out.
Yeah.
He's just like, get out of my way.
I will say my new favorite character in all of the Dragon Ball verse was Doctor whatever his name was.
Yes, yes.
Let me
tell you why I'm a doctor. That was the best.
Again, and now I get to tell you why I'm called Doctor.
You just Galaguns him off. Shut up!
Nobody cares.
Yeah.
So he was awesome, but that did fall flat. And it also, I wonder why, they had 4 clones holding the guy down. Like, why didn't he just jump off of them?
My impression. Yeah.
Like, I mean, it might have been hard for him to, key blast himself over to them, but it would have been worth a shot, And even if he came up short, it would have been like, oh, that was a good try. What a noble effort. But he just crossed his arms like, I am dead.
Yeah.
And we've seen, like, Kamehamehas be able to blast people over. Akiko Ho should have been able to, like, blast his ass straight up.
I thought he was gonna pull, like, a Naruto and do a substitution thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you mean like he was
one of its clones that...
Yeah, no, all the clones in him went down.
No, like as he was going down, he was gonna do the clone thing and then switch place with one of his clones. Yeah,
well, Naruto also did a couple of these things where, they had his clones throw him up.
Yeah.
There's
so many things with... Okay, the clones could have done so many things other than...
Yeah,
just what they did.
Yeah, after he was falling, they only needed maybe 1, maybe 2 clones to hold him. The other ones could have tried to throw him up, or he could have tried to yeah. But so the strategy was satisfying. The outcome was a little bit less.
Yeah, I feel like they just want to get rid of Tien as quickly as possible or something. It's like we need you. He just needs to go. Get him out of here. So what else happened? Piccolo got a chance to show his fatherly skills by getting his arms blasted off 3 times.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm fine, Gohan. I just need you. Ah!
And they go on, what about your stamina?
Yeah, my stamina. Screwed in my arms. Just...
I forgot about that.
Gohan still sucks at dodging, as we can see.
The storytelling of expecting the sniper to be the guy with the balls everywhere, that was pretty good.
Yeah,
and that
it was an interesting setup. I'll give them that.
And also too, like they had Vegeta give it away, and even when he gave it away, I was sitting there scratching my head like, what? Because he's like, oh, let's go to the guy that's closer. And I'm like, what? And they got there, and then there's like, oh yes, he has been shooting me, and I have no skills myself.
Because they're dumb Saiyans.
Yeah.
Which worked, because they're like, well, okay, so ki doesn't work on you, huh? Well, what if we lift boulders and throw them at you?
Good idea, Vegeta. Do you have any skills? I actually expected him after he said, do you have any skills for him to just run off? But,
Yeah, me too.
Luckily, I'm thankful they went with, ha! Now I can show you!
Yeah, really, other than that, there wasn't really too much going on in this episode. This episode was not one of the better ones, I don't think.
Yeah, they reinforced a couple strategies. Like the moment where Gohan's just like, there's no cover between here and there. And they're like, that's no problem. Let's blow up a rock. So this episode, rocks were the answer.
Yes.
And so Tien made our little rock band, and then they threw...
I get it.
Yeah, so, I mean, other than that, I can't... This is the first episode where there's not too much more to comment. Everything was pretty self-evident. Mm-hmm. They did those couple cool things, and then Tien got eliminated.
Good job, Tien.
They keep downgrading the structural integrity of this rock that was supposed to take Death Gods to break.
Oh, yeah.
It's just in... What would you call that? Shambles? Like it's been destroyed every single way that you can destroy it.
It's reached the quality of standard Earth, like Mesa, whatever you want to call it.
Like he just blasted off a sheer chunk of it that Tien was on. Like it was just like, ha, my opponent. Like, yeah. So that was more or less fun.
So after that, we have My Hero Academia,
Boku no Hero.
and we have the Students versus Teachers.
I wish I watched that with you guys.
Why?
Why?
Because the moment that Midoriya and Bakugo's, you know who it was gonna be, like, you know who they were gonna fight, but the moment where it's just like, yeah, you two, the number one. And
I actually didn't know that. I didn't expect that coming, but it wasn't like a surprise. But I wasn't like, oh, I know it's gonna be him. But I knew that the two of them are gonna team up. As soon as it happened, and I could see some of the other pairings, I was like, okay, it's the test where solve your weakness.
Yeah, they set that up well. But the moment where they had the number 1 and number 2 hero in the class, teaming up against God, what is his actual name? Their teacher. Aizawa. It's just like boom, and then the music begins to rumble in the background, and then it gets louder, and then Midoriya and Bakugo, you will be up against dun dun dun. I will do it.
Yeah, that was a good intro. He literally fell into the scene.
Yes, like it was
dropped in.
He had a Superman moment because it wasn't his theme song, but it was almost like dun 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 dun. I am here. And I out loud like a maniac. Yeah. I'm really excited for that. And then also his reaction to like, yeah, they put 10% of our body weight. Ooh, these are heavier than I thought.
Yeah.
And Bakugo's like, you're underestimating us. And then the blue eye on the black the black sphere that is his eye is just like, you think so? They
gonna die.
Pipe.
Every day we come closer to a Sasuke moment.
Every day we come close.
With Bakugo?
Yeah.
Well, first match we had a Cement Toss versus Sugar Man and Rock Hard Dude. And that didn't go too well for them.
No.
After this, we have...
the waifu!
And,
I wonder if they're doing that on purpose.
What?
I wonder if the writers
Do they
out...
know?
Yeah, they've got to know at this point that she's the waifu.
Everyone knows.
That she is the non-trash waifu.
Non-trash.
And
she's anti-trash.
Yes, she is, the golden waifu. And I think that they set that up in a small part, at least in reaction to the fandom. Just like, waifu! No!
Who was the other one, the crow guy?
Yeah, Birdman.
Yeah. And so he's kind of like, he's the dark horse. I don't know anybody that really dislikes him. He's got a lot of potential. He's really cool. He's basically Batman.
He's not Batman.
How
he's
so?
Birdman.
Yes, Bird. I almost went there.
Birdman.
Yeah. So he's dark. He's broody. He's got all of the right gadget. All the right little like nuance, like fun things to throw out there. But he's never going to be, I don't think, a Bakugo or a hero of the second place, Todoroki.
He's like second tier though.
Yeah. Oh, he's like Batman. Like he's smart enough where he can occasionally get into their realm, and he's the type that would set the course of action in the right direction, and like barely fulfill his role in such a way that makes it a success. That was basically what Batman did in his time.
And so these guys are fighting ectoplasm. He can make multiple copies of himself and like shootouts, ectoplasm, basically Kamehamehas, but not nearly as powerful. He can shoot beams at people. Fight or escape? What do you think they're gonna go for?
They should go for escape.
And
considering their talents, like
how are they gonna escape? They can make multiple copies.
There's a lot of things that they can do.
They seem like a team that would be good at escaping.
Yeah.
Whether or not they would do it, I think Birdman is. He seems like a good strategist.
Yeah.
And waifu, not as good of a strategist, but also like good enough to assess the situation. Yeah. So I think they're going to go for Run.
What was her placement? Actually, by the way, on this
it
episode,
was pretty high up.
You mean Yeah. Anyway, I really like that they had the real time placements of the class before the test. I'm like, I love this so much. I mean, hold on a second. I was surprised that Bakugo rated higher than that much higher than Midoriya.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, I mean, I guess if it's taking into account his power, and considering that Midoriya hasn't been properly assessed since he's learned control of his, but I mean, it was too higher. That's big deal at that point.
What were they?
Midoriya was 5 and Bakugo was 3. He's one below.
Who was 4?
4 was the girl who's having everyone over to the house.
No, she was number 1.
Oh, never mind. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Number 4 was the sticky ball guy. And
What?
Yeah, and everyone's
then everyone's like, huh?
like, you're supposed to be dumb. That's what's your thing.
Yeah.
There's her number 2. Number 2 was Ida, right?
I think so. Yeah.
And then that would make Todoroki number 3. No, Bakugo's number 3. Wait a second. I might have botched this. Midoriya I thought was number 5.
Google Sensei.
Yeah, Google Sensei.
Google Sensei.
Help me. I just remember in the time being like, man, I'm really surprised that Midoriya is behind him. But anyways, despite me not remembering the numbers, I was so just overwhelmed with the interactions into their placings. And also they played what's the that first guy, the one with the
laser
cannon.
I got it.
Oh, you got it?
Yep. Alright, so number 1 was the lady, like we said. Number 2 was
Momoyaozaru.
Todoroki.
Yeah.
Okay, so number 3 is Ida?
Number 3 is
Right.
Bakugo. Where the hell is Ida-kun?
He was high.
Yeah, what is all
Yeah.
this?
He was really high. Like, and I expected that. I'm like, oh, discipline.
Yeah.
He was better than Midoriya.
Oh, wait a minute. I think... Alright, this list is just somebody's opinion on power rankings. Damn it.
Alright.
Get out of here.
I'll continue to look. You continue to look.
But anyways, so just...
Here we go.
Here we go.
Ida second.
Ida's number 2. I was right.
Alright.
All right, and then how'd it go? Read it down.
Yayuzazu Momo, the Conjuration Girl, Ida, Bakugo, Midoriya, Todoroki, Waifu, Jiro Kyoka. Is that like Limb Eyeball Man? I don't know.
I think so. We get the point. But anyway, the naval cannon guy's like 16th, and they're all like, "You should practice." And he's like, "Why ever would I?" And then like the number 16, ding, ding, ding. You know, he's like halfway through the class.
All right. So with that, the next fight is Ida-kun and Tail Guy versus some hero we have not seen yet. So can't really talk much about that.
I'm looking forward to them because both of them ranked high. Both of them are smart. And both of them have really underwhelming quirks that they are going to use to a high degree of that potential.
After that,
so I think we're going to see some a lot of fun things come out of them. But I think that's what's the guy's name that they're fighting, or which one does he look like?
I don't even know if he's got a name. Hold on.
What's he look like?
Okay, yeah,
he looks like
he's
that.
the muscle head, right?
Oh, yeah, it's like Pile Driver or something like that.
So I think that is the direction that I think they're going to go. Is just they're two people that are really like in terms of style they're like Baroque, like they're super loopy and really really highly refined, and the other guy is just going to be like I'm more stronger than you.
I are slum. The fight after that will be Aizawa Sensei versus Conjuration Tits, and I don't know what else to call it, and Todoroki. So both of them rely heavily on their quirks versus the guy who can erase the quirks.
Momo. That's her name.
Momo?
Momo.
Okay, her name will be Momo.
Remember that.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm referring to?
Yes.
Okay.
So, quickly getting back to the fight at hand, it's going to be held in a circular auditorium. So, there's presumably probably going to be one side that's cast in shadow, and another side that is not. Right? Is that reasonable? Because it was an open top, I think.
No, wasn't it in this just like the city?
Each one will have its own unique.
Oh, okay.
So, Waifu and Birdman will be in that big sensory thing. So, who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, I know, but... Right? So what do you think will happen with the quick erasing Aizawa sensei versus Todoroki and Momo? Oh, no, Conjuration Tits.
Well, in this case, this is the only case I've seen so far where it looks like they have pigeonholed the wrong characters. Yes, Todoroki has used a lot of brute force, but that was because he was compensating for not using half of his power, which he's been developing for a while now. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So, you have literally two of the smartest kids in the classroom, who got there in no small part due to their academic abilities.
Mm-hmm.
I think. Well, it's no surprise that Eraserhead is going to erase their quirks.
Yeah.
Like, they have gotten together by this point, and they have figured out on either how to use that small window of opportunity that they will get during or beforehand to do something with it, or to find a way where they're going to, one's going to go one way, the other's going to go the other way. They're going to circle him because he has to look at them, right?
Yes.
So then he has to choose which quirk to erase.
Can he only do one at a time?
No, he has to look at you, though, so he can do them both if they're standing at the same point, coming at him from the same angle.
Okay, that's
He's
what I
also
thought.
shown to be quite competent with his bandages, so he can just rope one of them and pull him on in.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm sure he's going to do that, but
they might be smart, but for example, Conjuration Lady, she showed that she cannot apply what she knows, and she is way too slow with any of that stuff. So she needs to learn how to be able to think on her feet better, and not just like, I'm going to conjure up what I need, and I can't even...
Yeah. She's overwhelmed with possibility.
And Todoroki is just like, my quirk is powerful as hell.
No, she like there was when they had the electric guy and she conjured the rubber blanket thing.
Uh-huh. She had more time.
She knew like what.
Yeah, but it was when it
do.
was the tournament. That's why she ended up getting a butt kick, because she had no idea what to do.
I don't remember that fight.
They were actually talking about it. That's why Aizawa-sensei picked these two.
Okay.
What happened in that fight? I don't remember.
She was fighting Birdman, and all she did was just make a shield, and Birdman just kept like banging her until she eventually got out. She's like, "What? How did that happen?" So you didn't know what else to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. If they split up and are 180 apart from him at all times, or as close to as possible, then well, as long as she has enough time to make a smoke bomb, that eliminates his sight.
Yeah, or a cloak.
Or cloak.
Or ice.
So there's a lot of ways that they can, block his power. And I think that as long as they have one or two things that she could make beforehand in the short windows that she's probably going to get, awesome. But...
Oh, I forgot to ask, do you think Fight or Escape?
Well, all of them should be trying different things, I suppose, but I think they have a good shot at fight. I want to see them fight. I mean, I want to see more fights than escapes.
Yeah, reminder for those who don't remember, you have to put on the handcuffs with people. That's how you fight. That's how you win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think... Well, she could conjure handcuffs, couldn't she?
They already have handcuffs, though.
Yeah, I think it has...
Yeah, but they could have a decoy pair.
Ah.
Good call. Good call.
Ooh.
That's even better, because then... Yeah, good call.
Good job, Nick.
So I think fight.
Right.
I think one of them will be, let themselves get captured, and then use a decoy pair of handcuffs to do something while the others...
Next fight after that will be, what was his name? 13, the one who makes, the black holes to suck things in.
Oh, yeah.
The one's got, the spacesuit.
Spacesuit,
versus, Uruhara, Floaty Lady, and, Belly Button Dude.
Belly Button Dude.
I feel so bad for the love of interest,
What's his name?
To talk to.
I forget.
The naval cannon.
Yeah, naval
Oh,
cannon
laser guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, there's no point
Yuga
even trying to
Aoyama.
talk with him. By the way, did they play Midoriya's jealousy in that? Was that what they were doing? Because he had a really weird reaction to him.
I don't think so.
He's a pretty man.
No, because she
smile, though.
came into the room that he was in to get away from him.
Yeah. I'm not saying it because it's never logical when, like anime people are jealous.
I don't think so. I think he was just kind of exasperated because everyone hates that idiot.
Yeah, I didn't pick up on that.
It was just a really weird reaction to him. But anyway,
So I'm wondering...
with her better option, like she's been gearing up to fight, so I'm excited to see her hand-to-hand skills, and I think she's going to get underestimated.
Yeah, she can't float away because she'll just be sucked in, and the guy's ladies will be just sucked in. So what do you think? Are they going to try and fight or run?
Run.
Run?
She's certainly smart enough to
Yeah, I mean,
try and run.
what do you think's stronger, if she lets the laser guy float and then he uses his cannon to Kamehameha backwards or upwards?
He'd be gone.
Yeah, so it'd be really hard to stop him. Especially if she's using her hand-to-hand skills against the what's her face?
13.
13.
Does she have a range? Does 13 have a range for the black hole thing?
We don't know. But I think that they should run. But I'm also excited to see because every fight's going to have a little bit small elements of that where they're going to have to goad the teachers into like, oh wait, they can't allow them to go too far. So.
Alright, next fight will be pretty interesting. It's the principal, mouse dude, versus Pinky and electricity dude.
Slug lady.
Slug lady. So, we don't know what the principal can do, but if he's a principal, I'm gonna guess intelligence. He's also a mouse.
I think they're both gonna underestimate him and try to fight him, but I think that he is also.
He has a lot of confidence.
I think, yeah. And that scar that he has makes me think that he's been in a lot of physical fights. So I think that he's hiding his power level, so to speak.
Oh, yeah.
So both of those guys they were kind of dumb. They were like, what were they ranked? Like 19 and 20?
9 and... No, sorry. 19 and 20.
Yep, there we go. So the two dumbest people facing the principal. So this...
Okay, so maybe it is a challenge of wits.
So what do you think the two dummies are going to do? Fight or run?
I think they're going to just sort of like fight, run, fight, run, fight, run.
I think
both together all the
yeah,
time.
that could be.
Until, until they get smarter and then, sort of goad them into something. Like, third or fourth time. It'll be the
I think
time
they're
where
going to forget that they can run.
That could be.
And then they're going to be like, oh, we can run. Let's try to run. Oh, too late. Let's fight.
I should have also asked, do you guys think they'll succeed in whatever you choose?
Yeah, we can do that in a later episode.
Yeah.
We're really, really stretching this one.
Alright. Next up is, what was the name of the mic dude?
DJ whatever.
DJ something. The guy with the voice.
DJ Scream.
Whoa!
Hisashi Yamada. It doesn't say the hero's name here.
No.
That's dumb.
He's gonna fight Earphone Jack Lady.
Perfect.
And the dude who you guys don't know what his powers is, which I'm gonna just spoil.
The guy that looks like Ryuk.
Yeah, the guy looks like a rock.
No, not Ryuk, not Rock, Ryuk.
Oh no, who looks like Ryuk?
With the lips.
Oh no, that's the Sugar Man. That was in the first fight.
Oh.
Yeah, the guy right next to that picture. Yeah.
Yeah, the guy that looks like a rock.
I'm just gonna spoil his thing because
is this thing that he's a rock?
No, he can talk to animals.
Oh.
He can communicate with animals. That's his thing.
Weird.
So, guy who can communicate with animals and Earphone Jack Lady versus Voice Dude. Well, Earphone Jack Lady's kind of screwed. I'm gonna make you hear sounds. Nah.
Well, she could plug herself into him and feedback loop.
if she can reach him. So, fight or run?
Rock guy would
Animal
run.
guy.
Animal guy, whatever. He looks like a rock.
He does.
He would have to run just to get animals. And
They'll probably put him in a place that he can get to them.
well, the whole point is to compensate for their weakness.
Right.
Which, in this case, I'm gonna say is that their powers are really specific.
We haven't even seen Animal Dude.
Yeah.
Anything yet. So, we can't really...
And hers are, like, spying.
Yeah. Alright, so next fight is the gun dude. I forgot what his name was.
Gun dude.
We saw him at the end of the last season. He can shoot bullets really accurately.
Oh, the teacher.
Yeah, the teacher.
Oh, yeah.
Which is Invisible Lady and guy
Yeah.
who can move his body parts around.
Ha!
So I can't really... we'll see, I guess. We have not seen enough of any of these three to really know what's going to happen, I don't
Well,
think.
I think Invisible Lady can definitely run away.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be too easy, so she's not going to do that.
Well, I don't agree with that. I think that the reason they're using Accurate Man is because he can see the small details that she displaces when she moves, and so she's going to learn the shortcoming of like, yes, you're invisible, but
You leave
you
footprints.
know, just you leave footprints, and she's going to have to develop the ability to like, she'll carry around stuff, and let's say she throws a rock, so that they think that she's over there, Batman uses, ninjas use their, are supposed to use their shurikens. To make noises where she's not. Mess with expectation as opposed to, like, you can just sneak around.
Right.
And so that's what she's going to have to learn in order for them to be successful.
Uh-huh. That's pretty good.
Next fight is going to be the BDSM teacher lady versus Elbow Tape and Sticky Ball Dude.
I think this one's pretty obvious.
You think he's going to run?
No.
No?
I think he's going to stick himself to her and get wrecked.
Do you guys know what
The question is whether he's going to like it or not.
Do you guys know what the power is?
Sexiness.
They kind of showed it during the tournament.
Get
But he
people to
didn't.
submit to her will.
They didn't really go into detail, but they
I
gave
don't
you
remember.
hints. They didn't outright say it. They gave you hints.
Yeah, I remember kind of figuring it out in a vague sense.
Meh, I won't spoil too much of that. And then we have everyone's favorite,
Fight!
All Might versus Midoriya and Bakugo.
Oh, they're going to run.
They're gonna run?
They're just going to successfully
Midoriya, or not Midoriya, Bakugo's going to be like, all right, let's cooperate and leave together.
Sounds good.
Oh my god. That's just like...
I want them to beat him so bad. I actually think I saw a spoiler to this fight once. I'm pretty sure I did. So I think I know something that they do. And I'm not going to spoil it, but it was really good.
That's cool.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's sort of like whet my taste buds for this, but I really want them to fight, and I want them to circumstantially beat All Might. Or at least have it to be a draw.
I think Bakugo
Somehow.
is going to blow things up, and Midoriya is going to punch things.
I think Midoriya is going to blow things up, and Bakugo is going to punch things.
Going to confuse All Might. So that sums up the fights with those guys.
Maybe what they can do is they can start fighting. Midoriya and Bakugo can start fighting each other, and when All Might comes in to break them up, no, students, you can't. Gotcha.
They also had a little bit of filler with a tea party.
Yeah, they all felt out of place at her house. But she was bouncy, and that was a big deal for some reason.
I think they should do... I think what would be good is if they did all the fights besides the main one, be an episode and a half, and then the second half of the next episode being the beginning of All Might versus those two, and then the next episode finishing that up. Because
You think that's going to take just 3 episodes. Wait,
So all of
2 episodes or 3?
3 episodes. So the first episode, getting most of the 2v1 fights. The second episode, the first half to finish up the last couple.
Yeah.
And then the second half of the second episode to begin Midoriya and Bakugo versus All Might.
And then a
episode
third
3
that's
is
just
where...
their fight.
Yeah. I think that's what they should do.
That's pretty quick for all those fights, and what will probably be the climax fight. What episode are we on? Like 30-something, 40-something?
I mean, really, what we have is 8 fights before the main one left. So if they do, like 5 fights in the main one, which would be, about 4 minutes a fight. And let's face it, some of those is not really going to be that interesting. So, some of them can be 3 minutes, some of them can be 4 minutes, 5 minutes. And, yeah, that should work, give or take. I mean, I'm not really looking forward to Invisible Lady and Move Body Parts Around Dude. I'm not looking forward to that match. So, yeah, make that 1 minute.
Well, there's like
Sakura versus Ino.
there's like 2 or 3 episodes left in the season, so
That's it?
yeah.
Oh. Well, then, yeah, that's what they gotta do.
Unless they just keep on going. It's certainly successful enough to do that.
I wouldn't mind that.
I
That's
wouldn't
what they did
either.
this last time. And I think they've kept up the quality pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty well.
So, we'll see with that. Right. And so the next thing is, I'm only in about episode 7 of the new Fate, but honestly, it's not dragging me in like all the other ones. Things feel a little bit generic and try too hardy. Like, I'm really not digging the homunculus storyline. It's... I don't know. It feels like I've seen it before, and it's just not really that interesting.
Which part of it?
All of it. Like, I'm not sure how to describe it. Just... The attempts at giving philosophy, the random nonsense of, hey, I'm gonna feel for this homunculus, and I'm gonna really defend him really hard, from the lady is just... all of it just feels kind of icky.
Icky?
Yeah. Like they wanted to have some kind of a story there, but I'm just not feeling it. But from what I can tell from what people are saying, things will happen later on that'll drag me in some more.
So I'm on episode 9.
I'm caught up.
The latest is 10.
Because I'm a good boy.
Well, I didn't watch it because I did think that you guys would. But, yeah, let's talk about it. What do we have to look forward to?
Me?
In general, yes.
So, the main thing that Yulian hasn't gotten to yet. So, where Yulian's at, they're doing the Jack the Ripper arc.
Oh, yeah.
So have you seen Jack the Ripper yet?
Yeah, I've seen Jack the Ripper, the Naked Lowly.
Yes, the Naked Lowly. And the weird mommy. Sure. And so that fight happens. Very shortly after that.
So they're not part of the war, right? They're not on either side. They're kind
Jack
of
the
independent. Yeah.
Where I'm at, Jack the Ripper's made its way onto the battlefield.
Okay.
So, but yeah, they're a separate sect. Like they're kind of like Castor and that murderer from
Fate Zero.
Fate Zero.
Oh.
Still haven't seen
Okay.
it.
No, I haven't.
Oh my god. This is like
I've got a pretty long list, guys.
Pretty long list of being a loser.
Yeah. So they seem like there's.
I mean, yeah, by some people's definitions.
Yeah, the ones who mattered.
We're doing
Mine.
a teen anime podcast. I mean,
Loser.
you only have so many more people you can exclude yourself from. So yeah, they're their own thing. What you haven't seen is Team Red, which is headed by the which is headed in large part by the takeover by the church. So
And presumably by the ancestor to the priest in the other fates.
I don't know about that. They don't. They do the same thing.
They have
with
the
them.
same name.
Do they?
Yeah.
I thought that was something they got from the church. But okay, great, because that would make a lot
Maybe.
more sense, because they do the same thing with that priest. As they
It
did
doesn't
with
sound
one
like a
priest.
title. It sounds like a name.
Well, like Saul adopts the name Paul. You know, like if they're going into a very religious church, they could adopt like a humble name. You know, and sometimes
Well,
that
but
would.
then it would be like, whatever the third, not. I forget the other one's name. I don't remember any of their names, but
But they were the same, damn it.
they were the same.
Anyway, so the one side has the slow strategy of building the golems, and then they have the uber golem, and so they've been preparing for that with the homunculi. The other side had a slow strategy too, and that finally literally takes flight shortly after you meet Jack the Ripper. They make the Hanging Gardens of
Babylon.
and so they have a flying castle, and they take that flying castle, and they're going to attack the castle that
It's a flying fortress.
flying fortress. They're going to attack the castle that Vlad the Impaler's at. And so they start this battle, and Team Black, whose fortress is being invaded on, they don't have everybody there. But, Vlad is just like, I don't care. This is my land. They're barbarians. Let's punish them! And he has this moment of just like, yeah, Vlad, shit, I just rooted for Vlad the Impaler. And so they have their fight going. And you've seen that.
Yeah.
So
And I got the impression that his noble phantasm was anyone, or he can attack anyone who's intruding upon his land.
yeah, it's a territorial thing.
Yeah. So if he's invaded, he can just kill them.
Almost, yeah. I mean, he's a tough one. And then
Yeah, so far there's been a lot of like standing around and a couple sort of skirmishes, but now it's at a point where it actually is the Holy Grail War.
yes. So back at the plot of the homunculus, this is not something you've gotten to yet, and this is what I think that Yulian has to get to judge, because I still don't know how to judge it. But so
By the way, what was the status where you stopped?
With the homunculus?
Yeah.
Joe and Avoid left them in that building.
Okay,
Yes.
so yeah, that's a bad place to judge that plot.
okay, so let's
because
start-
it's boring.
Let's
Yeah.
start there. The person he's staying with was an adventurer. You only know that because after a couple days of contemplation, or a day, who knows, the homunculus basically goes, you know what? It would be shitty of me to just sit here and do nothing with this life I've been granted. I'm gonna go attempt to free the rest of the homunculi. And the guy's like, well, okay, here's my belt that I wore when I was a younger person, and it has a holster for a sword. And so he brings the sword that he gained from Archer, I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was Archer for some reason. But and then he goes off with the sword. And so now he's sort of a hole. And so he goes for a while. He actually just makes it into the castle right as the battle starts. So he's like, oh, jeez. Ew, jeez.
Never mind.
He goes in there, and one of the neat things is his sister, who he first comes into contact with, recognizes him, and the sister's like, "What are you doing?" And he's just like,
I'm just standing on this pile of corpses.
yeah. He's just like, well, I'm here to give you guys a choice. And she's just like, we were literally made to fight in this war. What are you doing? And he's just like, we were not made to die. And so he sort of talks with them, the homunculus, they're there to draw power from. So all of the
Yeah, they're the Matrix.
they are the matrix of power. And so the heroic spirits at any point might attempt to draw magic from them, but he's taking them out of the pouches. So, they might find their Capri Sun just drained. So I wonder if they're going to play off anything like that. And so,
Capri Sun.
can you imagine how disappointing that would be after you go through the trouble of getting the straw in there and there's nothing, just air.
Well, it's kind of like when you get the straw and it all shoots out.
Yeah, they're all gone. So he's got almost all, if not all, of the homunculus leaving the castle.
Wait a second, Nick. How do you know about that? You didn't have a childhood.
Yeah.
Apparently, I didn't have a childhood.
Capri Sun apparently was on cable. Not cable.
Yeah. Capri Sun was on cable.
So
same with Gushers and High C.
They wouldn't waste their time commercializing on those pathetic basic cables.
So
what kind of plebeians watch ABC?
So they're all on their way out as all of the heroic spirits and masters' heads are turned Mordor style on the fight. So he's just sneaking them out, and then the rider that saves him, she gets shot down out of the sky, and so he literally sees her just falling from the sky, and he's just like, oh ooh. And they say go to her, and it just so happens that the moment that she falls.
Yeah, that was an awesome battle, by the way.
Which one?
Rider versus Assassin of Red.
Yes,
Red. Assassin of Red is basically like breaking the rules of what her class is because she's got tons of like cataclysmic magic.
That's not assassin-y.
No, it's not. And Joan of Arc, ruler, is like, what are you doing? Stop that. Stop it. And then she's like, no, I'm not stopping it. In fact, here, have some magic. And she's like, have a death apocalypse beam. And she's just like, no.
That was the battle directly following Ryder and...
Yeah, it was the result of that battle that she watched. Also, I love how her weapon is a flagpole.
Yeah.
One of you mentioned something like that earlier, and it reminded me of that.
This is Jarvan the Fourth. So Ryder falls out of the sky. Her mount apparently was destroyed, which is bad for a rider.
Yeah.
And that's the moment that Saber gets on the battlefield. Red Saber, our Saber.
Yeah.
And, Saber's like, well, that's some bad luck. And so then the homunculus who's been running to get there, basically sees them begin to fight, and obviously Ryder is completely... First of all, Ryder used a lot of the mana to try to get up to the fortress, was on the cusp of getting in there to invade it, and then was shot down. So she's almost spent to begin with.
And she's like, I could drain the homunculi for their magic, but then I'd be killing them, which I just kind of was against.
So she decides to do the good person thing and suffers for it.
Yay!
Yeah. Well, anyway, so she's getting outclassed. So the homunculus takes up his sword and is just like, I'm gonna kill you, Saber! And, like, the attempt is pathetic. Obviously. Thankfully. And then, she's basically like, kick him to the side, and Ryder's like, how dare you! Way too strong. They fight, she's still outclassed. Saber's about to kill Ryder, and the homunculus is just like, no! Shouts like that to get her attention. She watches him approach. She lets him stab her, and just the tip.
Oh.
Just the tip. And she's just like, are you happy? And he's just like, I'm gonna kill you. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna kill you. Stab. Stabs him right through the chest, or right through the abdomen. And Ryder's just like, no. Same sort of thing. Like, what are you gonna do? And then she kicks him off. Berserk does a noble phantasm, which is lightning. The lightning reshocks the heart of Siegfried. And they have this moment of, like, astral projection, where he meets Siegfried in the plane, and there's a dragon, and Siegfried is just... They sort of have this moment of, where the homunculus, whose name's Sig now, in his honor, is just like, that was really dumb of you to give me your heart. Why would you do that? And he said, and he sort of recounted what you already know, like, I live my life to grant everybody's wishes. I was brought back as a slave, and I made a promise. If I was ever brought back, it would be my choice. And so it was my choice that ended my life. And then this dragon sort of stirs in the background. And, you know, he's like, if it's scary, grab the sword. And he can't lift the sword. Long story short, he uses basically the same magic that was originally meant for the command seals to basically, you know, like, you can just die here. No! And, you know, like, there's that moment where he had to choose to live. Mm-hmm. He brings it back, and he gets possessed by Siegfried. And this is something that, you know, everyone that's watching this, the monk guy, is just like, that was stupid. This type of being can only last for a couple seconds. It is he goes Super Saiyan. Uh-huh. He's almost literally Super Saiyan at this point, and he's about to fight Saber. End. More accurately, he's thing, and he knows, he's just like, just let me hold together a couple seconds longer. Let me just do something with this life. Shoom, Noble Phantasm. And Saber's like, fake Saber, Noble Phantasm. Let's go.
Uh-huh. Is that where the first scene happened?
It was they brought it back, and that's why that Saber's calling this person a fake.
Yeah.
And actually, in this scene, because it is the homunculi possessed by Siegfried, so it still is his face, but Siegfried's hair, kind of. You know, it's like Super Saiyan 3. It looks kind of funny, but at the same time, it's just like, no, that's Siegfried. I get it. You're embodying that. And he's just like, yeah, I am a fake, but you know what? Fuck you. And they're about to go at it, and so I don't know what angle they're going to go, but they made it real, and so they actually brought it to a choice. They didn't just give him unnecessary power. They brought the power that was already in the depths of him right out to the surface, and he only has a little bit of time, so it was very exciting.
Is this supposed to be a 13-episode season or 26-episode season?
No idea.
It's what, 8 ins? Or no, it's 10, so it can't be 12.
13.
No way.
I mean, it sounds like it's like the finale of everything.
Well, after one side is eliminated, then they have a war between their own side.
If there's anyone left. You know, like they might it might just be an everyone dies but one person, and that's it, you know.
I'm assuming it's 26.
They did an interesting thing for the command seals. They didn't explain this very well, but Berserker does this Noble Phantasm, which originally, quote, was supposed to be able to take out all of the other, you know, enemy teams if it was done 100%. He uses a command seal to give her the power to do it at its maximum. You know, so basically Berserker self-destructs. You know, it's going into that move, she was going to die.
Uh-huh.
On the other
also
side,
she had a really cool backstory.
Yeah, she did. Frankenstein's backstory is pretty neat. And then what's his name? The Saber's master. Our Saber's master, the Necromancer guy. He uses a command seal in a way to sort of shield Mordred. And that's, I mean, like, and she still loses some of her armor, but, I mean, she survives this. So I guess that's a way to use it, is you can use it as extreme offense or extreme defense. You know, just like...
Well, yeah, that's kind of the way they were intended to be used, like, as, like, you know, stop fighting, get out.
Well,
but a lot
I've
of
seen
the times...
before. But, you know, this is, like, manifest as, like, a huge, like...
it's just like a straight up, like...
It's a power surge.
Act better. Fight harder.
No, it's like right now...
Release your bindings.
It's like, release your bindings is like, you know, you can perform and you can lift 1,000 pounds if you're their case, probably, right?
Uh-huh.
They can tell them, you know, as an order, do your best, and they'll lift 1,000 pounds. That's their maximum.
Uh-huh.
They can use their power, and let's say that the magical oomph of the master is they can magically lift 600 pounds with their magic alone. Yeah. That 600 pounds get added on to 1,000. So not only are they able to unleash all of their restraints, they get boosted by exactly the amount that the master can give.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, not only did she defend with her might, and he could have just suggested her to do that, he added all of his magical energy to block this move.
Interesting.
Yeah. And that's the only reason that Mordred is alive, which that felt kind of flat to me, but you know, that particular moment. But it was interesting to see the command seals used that way, and also that means that Saber's master's down a command Saber seems like the most unreasonable, like the least
overpowered,
but then also like she won't listen to you unless her their ideas align. So to get her to listen seems like it'll be a problem, and he's down a command seal, so he has a maximum of 2 more times he can use it. Or they usually save 1 command seal for the final because I guess the servants have to kill themselves.
What?
Oh yeah, you never saw Zero.
Oh,
You gotta see Fate Zero.
Call yourself a fan of the series. Pwah.
But so they gave some gravity to the homunculus arc. The battle has been lots of fun. Shakespeare, did you see what Shakespeare did?
yeah,
His
That's
jutsu
great.
is illusions, which is perfect.
yeah.
Just
It's basically the Mangekyo Sharingan.
yeah, yeah, it is. And he it's basically simulated PTSD.
Yes.
It's simulated LSD PTSD trip. And now relive your most jarring moments. Go.
Yeah, that's
Goodbye.
that's why I said Frankenstein had a good backstory. That
It was sad.
because it was enhanced by magic. Magic most foul.
But yeah, that's ramping up. Mordred is crazy overpowered, but I'm excited to see what direction they're going to go with Goku. I mean, Sig.
Goku Sig.
Sounds like an e-cig. And then lastly, I just wanted to remark quickly on for those of you that are keeping up with Knights and Magic, it is worthwhile. But in the last episode, they're ramping up the action. There's a small kingdom that's just gaining power like mad because they stole the designs. Well, actually, they stole the robots themselves and made designs off of the robots that the main character has built. So they're just taking over kingdoms left and right. And our main protagonist group, they just came into contact with that. And they're just like, oh, you think you can take over our kingdom using our plans? No. And, they're like light years ahead of the schematics of old now. Except in one respect. It seems like the community that's the kingdom is also technologically based because they have flying airships too. And that's not something that we can battle yet. But they've gone a lot farther in the realm. One thing that they did recently that I wish they didn't do was they set up. I don't know how she's going to be a love interest yet, but they set up the love interest. She's a princess of a group that got taken over, of one of the small kingdoms, and like. They really are pushing her hard. Like, she has a heart-to-heart with her father, the king, because her father, the king, is about to go out in his mech and meet them in the battlefield to give his daughter enough time to escape. And he's just like, I know that your mother died at a young age, but you have grown both wise and strong. And you are just the perfect woman for any man. And I will sacrifice myself so that you can live a righteous life. Like, it's like, okay, I get it. We get it.
Did you say Littlefinger?
Yeah.
Why?
Because it's got like a little fingered feel to it.
Like creepy incest?
Not creepy incest, but like creepy. Like, I've known your mom. You've grown up quite fine.
No, he's
That's
talking to his
creepy
daughter.
incest.
He's talking to his daughter.
His daughter. Oh,
Yeah.
God.
He's like, you're just perfect, my daughter.
Well, you know
and
what?
you've made
Team
me proud.
incest.
Yeah, no. And I mean, that was like after that, it was really nice in a way because he goes out there and he says, "I challenge you to a one-on-one duel," and it's just like, yeah, go king. And yeah, but they pushed her hard. I really wish that we would have had more time to come to terms with endearment for her. Like they could have just hinted at it, just like, ever since your mother gave her life for the kingdom, and they just could have just left it at that because it could have been like last year, But then you find out that she lost her mother at an early age, and then through her conversations it came out, but it was all at once. It was just like, and you lost your mother early, and you are basically perfect, and your father's basically perfect, and you will fight for righteousness, and you are willing to go fight, steal a mech and fight against your father.
So they accidentally Mary Sued it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, we don't know how competent she is yet, but they did the sin
It
of
says
telling, not showing.
It says in the script she's perfect.
Yeah, it says verbatim. It's just like, okay, I understand she's a love interest. I get it. Stop! Scene's too much. But otherwise, it's still just tons of fun. We got to see all kinds of mech violence in the last episode.
If you want something that sounds a lot like that, but might be a little bit better written, Escaflowne.
Escaflowne!
Bless you.
I remember that.
You do?
It was years ago. I watched just a couple episodes, but I really liked when they said Escaflowne.
Yeah, I remember the opening kinda. It was something like they just said the name over and over and over.
Exactly.
But it got.
When they did in the show, it was just like, ah.
But they recently redubbed it and added in all the stuff that got westernized because we can't handle, I don't know, whatever, violence, and I'm sure there was probably a lesbian best friend or something.
Oh my.
There usually is in that kind of show. It's like a shoujo fantasy mech with magic.
Mwah.
Throw more words in there.
On the moon. Does that work? Speaking of mech violence on the moon, I've also been watching Gundam Zeta.
Okay.
And I was saying earlier about Gundam original with like low quality, and they had like the eyelashes under the under the cells. But no, this one is actually like really good and well written, and it's a bit like Game of Thrones in space, but like light. You know, like
more happy
diet version. Yeah, a lot more happy, but
and the wedding went off without a hitch.
Yeah, pretty much. They need like they keep needing excuses to have battles, so they keep capturing like traitors and enemy spies and stuff, and then they lock them up, and they're like, here child, have the key. Oh no. Thanks.
You're welcome.
What was I talking about? Yeah, so they keep being like, here, have the key to the prison, child. Don't... I know that the enemy spy is your love interest, but please do not let her escape. And sure enough, that happens.
Yeah, of course.
And then they're like... immediately they head to the Gundam Bay and jump in the cockpit and fly off, and then they have to fight each other.
That reminds me, in Knights and Magic, they also use spies, except so far they haven't been caught. And it's really, really good because there's a lot of things that would have been really nice to be privy to before they happen. So, for example, the princess I was talking about, she winds up getting captured by the bad guys. Mm-hmm. And of course the evil rapey bad guy was just like, "You're my wife.
I'm gonna lick your face."
Yeah. Well, and then she's put in a really awkward situation because I'm not exactly sure how the other people are related to her. I got the impression that they were like servants, but I got the impression also they were like friends of the family, so they might be both. Who knows? And the guy's just like, either you'll be my wife or that other girl will be. And she's like, what do I do? And so she has that moral dilemma going on her side. But the spy for our team is there. he's in that particular, or sorry, she's in that particular base, and she overhears this and she sends a report, like basically, God, they're gonna rape the princess. Get on this.
Maybe we should do something about that.
Exactly, and so, but they don't have spies everywhere, and so there's like, they roll up to they ride up to a civilization, a kingdom that had recently been taken over, and they had no news of that. And they're literally just like, that's a different flag you got up there. And they're like, yeah, we took them over. Oh, really? Okay, you're dead. And then they fight, and that's how it works pretty much. But so it's a really brilliant use of espionage, because they have specific knowledge, and they lack specific knowledge, and I'm like, good job. That's actually, well played.
It is.
Because if I was going to send a spy, I'd send him there, to this particular, so there's a lot of higher ranking generals, and then there's a prince, and then there's a king. The more easily accessible one was the prince, because he's a little bit more haphazard, and so they sent the person there, as opposed to a lot of these other places, like the generals taking over the towns, the towns. So I mean,
go for the guy who's most likely to spill information.
Most likely to spill information
and most accessible.
He also values like swordsmanship and competence over like loyalty. So he's just like, you're good, you're with me, So some a lot of the, as you get higher in like military, it matters that you're competent, but it also matters that you've been with them for a long time, because they do not want, a lot of the times you're new to the military, but you have 20 years of swordsmanship under your belt. What have you been up to?
Not being a brigand.
Yeah. So, there's so they exploit that, and I'm reading into this a little bit, but they are playing off that really well, and so I'm impressed. That's one of the things that they do well, and so I'm still enjoying the world. I'll tell you more about that as time goes on. But I remember now that you say it about
good
the
world.
Gundam.
Good world building is good,
and they didn't spell it out like the backstory for the princess. Like, they put the spies in places, and they don't put them in places, and they make sense. And they don't say, they don't have the meeting of the spies like, okay, you will go to this place for this exact reason. My spy who has proficiency in dual swordsmanship but lacks the dexterity to I remember now that you said that they always capture the spies, like back when I watched the Gundam series, like, oh yeah, they did that all the time. And it seems like for some reason outside of like Gundam and mech shows, they almost never have those spies, unless they just one time mention like, our spies report this, and then never mention it again.
Yeah.
And they not get...
Well, in anime, there's not a whole lot of like organized military outside of mech shows.
Yeah.
What's the deal with that?
It's
too real, man.
Yeah, well, kinda.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, you don't get the crazy haircuts in the military.
Well, you can, because it's anime.
Well, yeah, but then you sort of lessen the reality of it. And so there's that. There's, like, in these militaries, that they're given all of these special utility Gundams gives them personality. I mean, otherwise, if you don't have the crazy robots, you have the gunner, you have the chef. I mean, like, you can do so much more
think of Attack on Titan. They have, like, one spy.
Attack on Titan worked because they joined the scouting regiment, and those are, like, the rejects, generally, right? Like, besides...
Sorta. They're like
the rejects are the guys who repair the walls.
They're part of the military?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, they're the crazies then.
They're the societal rejects.
Yes. Yeah. So that works out because you're not going to get banned from the scouting regiment. They're just like, oh, please give us more people to fight.
You don't get banned; you get put in the front lines.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good work. You've been promoted.
So and their military is somewhat lax, just because they're just like, we need to spend a lot of time figuring out how to use this 3D maneuvering gear, and if you can do that, great. And if you can't, well, build the wall.
But I can't think of anything else that's like in a military setting, and I can't think of anything else that has a military setting.
Yeah, what you need as a prerequisite, it seems, for a successful military-based anime is a new explosion of a new technology, so that it becomes like the brains that are at the forefront. So, like in Code Geass, you have the Earl of Pudding. They have those nightmare frames. That's really new, and you need really competent people for it. And so then you can have unusually long-haired Private Kudarugi piloting it, and or it's out in space, and so you have just these huge communities of space pirates and space organizations that have to operate, and they just need a lot of people. Come on, we won't even cut your hair. Just please help us do this. Versus if it's so right now in our today's day and age, military is relatively established. Like a big game changer back in the day was when in World War II the Japanese brought they made the Navy the Air Force. They brought airplanes into it.
Yeah.
And so at that point you had those really handsome American pilots, you had a bunch of stuff. But then if you look at modern Air Force, mostly crew cuts and like we're back to standard. And so until something shakes it up, you have a lot of you have a pre-established standard of excellence and perfection, and that has been hammered out over decades, and you're just going to do that, period. And so there's not a lot of personality. Like, there are personalities, but it's harder to make it realistic. Well, when you're saying anime and realistic in the same sentence, there's a little bit there. You have.
I know, but.
So and the way that they get around that is there's something shocking that happened. There's these new nightmare frames. There's this new technology, often a Gundam by a different name. That went on, or this big explodey thing, or we discovered that magic has been real all along. Whatever it is, something happens that really shakes up the status quo, because the status is not quo.
There's enough of military stuff. You don't need to go fancy magic. I mean, just make an anime of Alexander the Great.
Right.
That'll give you plenty of stuff to run with.
That's I would say
that's why I'm saying, like, you don't need to like have it like modern day, but like add new stuff. Like, there's nothing really that ever like, even like take a Sengoku period thing. There's tons of them, but you never really see like espionage and stuff. Maybe ninjas, but that's it. Ninjas ninja'd. And that's like the extent of it.
The nice thing about ninjas, as proven by Naruto, is that ninjas operate at such a frequency that, all right, so you have this image of someone wearing all black and super stealthy and all this other stuff. But if you were to like zoom in on that frequency, the subtle differences between ninjas become these vibrant colors.
He's got a different shade of black.
Yeah, exactly. And so, like, if and in order to make it watchable for the average audience, you make it vibrantly different colors. So sometimes they keep it subtle, like purple and blue. But I think Naruto did that part actually kind of right, where they zoomed in on that frequency and just blew it way out of proportion, so that you have super fast ninjas, super mindy ninjas, super.
But no one has a uniform. They're all just different.
They have
the character design is
chaotic.
It's very different and easily distinguishable, which is very good for character design in general. It's what makes them stand out. Ninjas. It's bad for being ninjas, yes. And the headband is the only thing that is, a uniform.
It made people think that they could be ninjas too.
Sadly, yes.
That's like the universal, like, you watch anime and you want to make fun of anime, you get a Naruto headband, you put it on.
And then you run with your hands behind you,
hey,
your
arms
behind
cool,
you.
Okay?
Look at me.
No, there's science behind it.
That's true. But yeah, if I'd be open to more. If they did military anime right, great. I think it is more fun to start from a less realistic spot than the military, and I think that a small band of people that are doing something unusual, like they just discovered magic or they just discovered something of their own, and they're just this guerrilla group that has nothing to do with a formal institution.
Yeah,
I think that's a more fun place to start.
Yeah,
and it might be just.
It's also usually way more accessible.
Yeah,
like one of my favorite any kind of things in fiction ever is Muv-Luv Alternative, and that's like as close to real as you can get while having giant robots and aliens. It's got like a super rigid structured military, and a lot of it is just they're being in training, and that's it. And for a while, I was convinced that, okay, so the basic plot is, aliens invade Earth, and the Cold War never happened, and instead they got invaded by aliens, and they invented robots to fight them, because that's, the most efficient way to do it. So the way of training is just have the robots fight each other.
Sure.
So
nice.
I was convinced, because they had never actually fought any aliens, I was convinced that the whole alien thing was a setup, and there weren't any aliens. It was just they're training these guys to be a special unit to fight other human soldiers.
Which would have been awesome.
It would have been awesome, because that's a huge setup.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, the whole first third of the trilogy is just like a school harem setting. And then guy wakes up one day and he's like, the world is destroyed.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well.
He's also kind of like, huh. Well, I like giant robots. There's one crushing my neighbor's house. Is this good or bad? I'm gonna go to school now. School is a military base. Okay.
Nice, and so then the teenagers get into robots and save the world?
Yeah.
Yay!
Because no one's left to do that for them.
I honestly wonder if anything, world destructive happens, how many people in Japan would be, I know what to do.
Well, we're getting real robots soon, so...
Yeah, though I'm still bummed that America didn't fight Japan with our giant robots.
What, did we cowered out or something?
Yeah, it was actually us. We challenged them and then we backed down.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought it was just like on hold or something.
It was pretty much officially just, it's not going to happen.
Oh, well, we suck, don't we?
Yeah.
Oh.
If you haven't seen it yet, Google America challenges Japan to giant robot fight. It's the most American thing I've ever seen. It's got dun, 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 Stars and Stripes Forever going on in the background. They're like, we made a robot. Really? With really big guns. And Japan also had a giant robot. You know what this means. You got a giant robot. We got a giant robot. We challenge you to 1 year. In 1 year. And so I watched this, let's say it was in 2014 and 2015, like within a month I realized, oh, it's about to go on. And then I realized, I read, it's done. Like, we backed out.
Oh.
The Japanese were making fun of us too, to like, it's really American. Like, they just...
Yeah, and their response was the most Japanese thing ever. Like,
yeah, I think you wore a Japanese...
We have received the challenge from the Americans, and we, like, the camera's, like, facing, like, from, slightly behind one of the guy's ears, and, like, so that you could see, like, side and behind profile, and he's like, yeah, we received and have decided to accept their challenge on behalf of all of Japan, and we hope to accomplish, fight something, I don't know.
Yes, they're like, it's very interesting, but we will win in close quarters combat. I think we had worn an American flag as a cape, and I think he wore a Japanese flag as a cape when he did the end part of the video when he's saying we accept. It was the hype was real, and the smack talk was real.
Yeah, it was, and now it's dead. Oh,
now it's dead. Until next decade.
Well, with that, we will see you next week with stories from Midwest T-Fest.
Yeah, we'll be bringing our microphone along this just in case, though, so keep posted if we might have a special video along the way, too.
Video?
Video. I said it.
Okay, well...
Might not be a video.
It's your responsibility, then. Alright, see you later.
恐竜がいたらたまのりしこみたいね